Okay, so we are identical twins, and we have a very unique twinship. For most of our lives, we had like a hate-love relationship where we loved each other, we were best friends, but her strengths are my weaknesses and vice versa. So,
and we would say that it was like a blessing and a curse. Like, it was amazing, but we would always be fighting or reacting with each other, so it was not the best thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like you have someone that looks exactly like you, and you're basically looking, well, for us, we were always looking at our flaws in each other.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at her doing something really well that I can't do, and because we didn't know we could change it, we didn't believe that it would ever be better, so we just argued all the time.
We would just react with each other, we would judge each other, we couldn't even trust each other because we would use things against each other all the time.
Yeah.
But on top of it, we suffered with really severe depression and anxiety. And we were also taking a lot of pharmaceutical medicines and trying,
and also self-medicating for most of our lives. And
we were looking for things on the outside to make us happy. And we also had this dynamic with our mom and our sister too, where we would all team up against each other. So when we had each other, we never really had each other. So it was almost like, I used to tell people that she broke my heart worse than any man ever could. And we spent like 4 years where we lived in different states. We didn't talk to each other. And it was
and then we've
sad.
been living together for the last 5.5 years. And 2 years ago, she came across Dr. Joe, and we both read Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And we both had a spiritual awakening. And at that point, we started to discover that there's more to life, and we were on our own personal journey. We also
realized that we could change, because we didn't know how we were ever going to change. We thought, it's always going to be like this our whole life. And whenever we would be in a relationship, like, she always hated the guys that I dated, and I was always just happy for her, but it was like there was never this like connection. So I always felt like, if we ever got married, we would still, would never be able to heal what we had. And then after reading Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, it was like instantly this connection, this click, where we were like, we can do this, we can change it. And
it was so like extreme that I had been in therapy for like once a week for 3 years. And the next week I went and told my therapist, I don't have to come here anymore. I just knew that this was going to change our lives. And actually, before we read the book, she found an interview with Dr. Joe and sent a group text to the whole family and said, this man's going to change our lives.
Yeah, nobody watched it.
Yeah, nobody watched the video.
When I tried to tell her about him, she kind of like mocked me.
Was resistant.
Yeah, she was resistant. And I was actually listening to the Audible version of Breaking the Habit, and she overheard it and went behind my back and bought it.
Yeah.
And like, she didn't want to tell me, but after she read it, we just both like cried and hugged each other, like, this is gonna change our whole. And we didn't even realize at that moment how much was gonna change. Like, we just thought, okay, now maybe we can like see eye to eye. And then
and it really was. So we found his book in July, and in March of 2018 we went on a cruise with him and Annie Morjani. And before that we were doing Headspace. We were reading every other book. We never really were doing Dr. Joe's meditations.
Yeah.
And then when we saw him on the cruise, it was like a reminder of what we had felt when we first read that, the frequency that the book gave us, that his voice gave us in the interviews.
And he talked about like doing the breath, and he talked about his week-long workshops, and we were like, what? We had no idea.
Blown away, and all these other meditations. So immediately after the cruise, we did the progressive,
in 3 days.
In 3 days, and we started practicing his meditation several times a day. And then it was June that year, I went on my first week-long, and I went by myself, which was a blessing because she's always been really
I was meditating every day, and at that point she wasn't. And she goes, I'll wait till the
I was meditating, but not every day, and not in the mornings, because I was never a morning person.
Yeah, it was like she didn't. I always had a strong will, and she always had this like abundance paradigm. Where it's like, so after she went to the week longs, and then I went, and we started doing all of the work.
For me personally, that first week long, I went into that week long afraid of everything in my life. And when I came back from that, I was fearless. And I knew that there was something here. So we ended up going to Toronto week long together, separate teams. And I had extreme healings in that.
And then whatever questions I had that I was confused about, I would ask her and she would have the answer. And then vice versa. So it's like we're both studying the work so much. And
we were still like not getting along as well, but we every morning at 3:30 in the morning. It wasn't easy, but we would wake up and do the pineal gland together. And we lived together, so it was nice to have a buddy to kind of be like, come on and get up. And at that time, I wasn't a morning person, so she would have to like,
I'd be like, come on, Jen, let's go. But now she wakes me up.
Yeah. Now actually our bodies wake us up at 3:30 every morning. So the more that we got into the work, the more workshops we've gone, Dr. Joe says, if you want to learn how to do something really well, study someone that did it really well. And so I started to think, well, what are you telling yourself and what are you doing that's making you have such a strong will? And then she's asking me, well, what are you doing that's making you, have abundance, and vice versa. So we started studying what each other were thinking and what each other were doing. And then all of a sudden, we became allies. We started to work together. And it's like, when you have an identical twin, it never clicked to us that I always knew, well, if she could do it, I probably could do it. But because we were so programmed that,
that's how she is.
You can't change. We didn't ever think to do that. And so then all of a sudden now our progress in the work and in our own personal lives and has just skyrocketed. But the biggest thing that we've gotten out of this was that we've healed our relationship. And
now our parents are doing the work, and our sister and us healed. We live in San Diego, and our family lives in Ohio. And by us doing the work, it was like healing aspects of our family. And like we took our dad to Cancun in December, and now he does the work every single morning. He like looks forward to it. He's like working out every day now, and
it's freed him. We have a brother that died 7.5 years ago, and there's so much pain. And in that experience, it was like our parents died too. And now we see our parents coming back to life. And now, truly, we're looking for the challenges in our life. And actually, one of the most recent manifestations that we've had with our Mind movie is she always wanted to be physically fit, like have this great body. For me, I never cared because I never had the willpower to want to push myself. And so,
I had like 10 slides in a row that were like, I eat healthy, I'm in the best shape of my life, all this stuff. And so for 5 months, I watched it every single day, and I wasn't working out at all.
We were working in.
Yeah, we were doing work-ins every day, and so I was okay with that. And since we started meditating, all the foods that I restricted myself from, and all of a sudden I liked them and I enjoyed them. But I was about to just give up, and I was like, I'm not doing anything. And then this opportunity to do this challenge, this fitness challenge came up, and the best part about it is like we did it together, and I've never seen her push herself that hard. But when we would go work out, it was like our bodies took us there. Like it wasn't like, it was like effortless almost.
It was almost like our inner world was no longer in alignment with our outer world. So it was having to match. So now the effortlessness came in. Well, we just have to match our inner world with our outer world, and we were completely successful. And now we're just, okay, what's next? What's the next thing in our lives? We're ready to tackle it. And also, I think, I've gotten myself, another thing that I manifested was I was on Adderall for 15 years, and it's been 8 months since I've been off of it. So I've gotten myself off of other medications, and I don't think I would have been successful with this fitness challenge if I had been on that medication. And now all of a sudden, our chemical, emotional, and physical health is all balanced.
So balanced,
for the first time in our lives.
Yeah, and with me too. I got off all the pharmaceutical medicine that I've been on since we saw Dr. Joe on the cruise. I was like, this is it. Like I can do this all myself, and I've never been more happy and full of life and just
So it's
now
following the formula. We've definitely
we follow the formula, and so now that's our twinsformation story.
And if we can do it, anybody can do it.